In order to invoke Report Manager, you want to enter this URL into the browser's address bar, where hostname is the name of the reporting services server. But you will need to change this as necessary to conform with how you've configured this URL within the Reporting Services Configuration Manager. So the name Reports may be a different name if you changed it. And one scenario where you might have that kind of situation is because you installed SQL Server, say, 2014 Reporting Services alongside a SQL Server 2008 Reporting Services installation. So you can have both instances, but they can't both have the report's name. So you might name one Reports 2014 and the other Reports 2008, whatever works for you. And one bit of caution. Microsoft only supports the use of Internet Explorer with Report Manager, but I have had reasonable success using Firefox and Chrome. The bottom line, though, is that if you want to be assured of full access to the features of Report Manager, use Internet Explorer. And you may need to run the browser as an administrator, depending on your security environment. All right, I'm going to run Internet Explorer as an administrator. Get the UAC control. And then I have a link here to Report Manager. And as you can see, on this machine, accessing it on localhost, I'm just going to use the URL http://localhost/reports. I'll click on that, and it'll take a few moments for reporting services to wake up again, and it'll display the home page of Report Manager. Keep in mind that I'm accessing Report Manager as a system admin. So in this case, with my permissions, I'm able to see a folder of data sources, a folder of data sets, a folder of my reports. These is my reports. If I want to add any custom reports, no other users can see this one. Sample reports, which is where I have the course's sample reports. And then, because I'm an administrator, I have access to other users' My Reports folder. Those other users who aren't admins won't see the users' folders within Report Manager. Now, in a heavily used report server, there may be many more folders. There could be reports right here, data sources right here. It just depends on how you've organized the server using Report Manager, what reports you've uploaded, and so forth. All right, now, this tile view that I'm currently showing you Report Manager in is the default view. But you can also access the details view. So I'll click this button right here. And now I get this table of objects within the current folder where I'm located. I'm in the home folder, so I can see these same folders that I could see in tile view. But the nice thing here is that I not only get the name that I can click, and I still get this pop-up menu that I can access, just like in the tile view, but I can better see the full description of each of the items, if there is a description, the date of last modification in time, and who modified this object. So a lot more information that you can see here. The nice thing is that the selection of tile view versus details view is sticky. So each time I access this report server using this instance of Internet Explorer, I'm just going to automatically get the tile view. And then also to point out that the name of the button changed. So it's now tile view. I can click that to go back to tile view. It's now details view. Okay. All right, a little bit about navigation features within Report Manager. I'm going to go down here into Sample Reports, just click on it, and that opens up this folder that contains a number of reports. Again, they're all the sample reports for this course. Because I'm one folder down from the home directory, I get this home breadcrumb right here. But if I then go drill down into another folder within this folder, or if I execute a report, so I'll execute the drill down report, notice that the breadcrumb has now expanded. So I can first of all see immediately that the RIT folder is called home. I drill down into the sample reports, and I'm now viewing the drill down report. This is really nice because if I want to go directly back to home, I can just click on home and be there right away. Or I can go back to that report just using the browser back button. If I want to go to sample reports, I can click that directly and go back to the report as well. Okay, so this is really nice both to see where you are as well as to quickly navigate to any location that I visited as I've nested and drilled down into the folder hierarchy of this server. But notice too that the home link here is always available. So anytime I want to get to the home directory or home folder, I can immediately just click that link and I'll be back up at the top location. Okay, I'm going to go back to Tile View and start talking about managing folders and files. So there's various buttons here in the toolbar that you can use in order to manage folders and files. So I'll go into the Sample Reports folder, and you can see that I have the same options as the home folder or home page, because the home page is really just another folder. It's the topmost folder. Alright, so the various buttons, I can create a new folder here. So I'll click on that, and it'll give me a name. I'll just leave the default name because I'm going to delete it. And there's my new folder. And folders are always listed before other contents of this particular folder. Alright, so I have new folder. I can also create a new data source, and that will take me to this page that allows me to configure this data source, including to defining the connection string. And I'll go back. I can also load the report builder. I won't do that now. I can also look at folder settings. And this is where I can set various properties, most notably the name and the description. And then I could also change the security. Now in this particular server, this folder is accessible to content managers. This is the only default role assignment that is created within Report Manager when you install reporting services. If I needed to add additional security, I could edit the item security. Okay, and then finally I could upload a file. So first of all, I would need permissions to do this within this particular folder, and not all users necessarily have permission to upload files to various folders other than their My Reports folders. But if I were to create a report, say in Visual Studio, then I would be able to upload it here, including any report support files like data sources and so forth. Again, as long as I have permission to do that within the folder that I am currently located within, in this case, the Sample Reports folder. Now, one thing to realize when thinking about the folder hierarchy within a reporting services server, the reporting services folders don't represent physical file folders on the reporting services web server. Rather, they're virtual folders stored within the reporting services repository within SQL Server itself, a database. And it's specifically stored within the report server database that you created when you first configured reporting services. And it's named report server by default. And you can access that database using the database engine through Management Studio. Okay, so you can create any kind of hierarchy that you want. You can also manage reports and data sources. Okay, so let me first of all delete this new folder. Don't want that cluttering up. And it refreshes the page. Okay, so managing reports and data sources. First of all, this is easier when you look at Details View. So notice the toolbars that I have here that I've been talking about. There's 5. I'll go over to Details View here. And notice that we get 2 more, as well as some checkboxes here so you can select multiple files. In this case, all of these are reports, but I could have data sources, I could have other report support files. And specifically, as soon as I select one or more, I'll select a few, I can delete these reports in bulk or one at a time, but I can also move them to a new location. And in this case, I get this nice hierarchy of the existing folder structure on this report server, and say I want to move these to My Reports. I could select My Reports. This is going to remove them from being accessible by other users and put them into My Reports folders that only I and other system admins have access to. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but I can move files that way. Okay, so you have a couple options for working on batches of files. All right, next thing I want to talk about is site settings. There's that link right up here, top of the page. So I'll go ahead and click that. And as you can see, I have the SQL Server Reporting Services site settings page. This page lets you view and modify the site settings for the current instance of reporting services. So you can use this general page to change a number of generic settings, including the title displayed at the top of each page. This is where you can change that right there. So in fact, I'll go ahead and select this, and I'll say hi from LearnNow. So that's going to change that on that page. So you can change it to a company name, whatever is appropriate for your environment. Here is where you can change the default settings for report history. So you can keep an unlimited number of snapshots, that's the default, or limit the number of copies. So this is basically another place where you can set this property of report server. There is some overlap with Management Studio. And then the report timeout as well. Now you can also change the custom report builder launch URL. This would be appropriate if you've installed the Click Once version of Report Builder somewhere other than the default location. By leaving this blank, it's going to use the default location on the report server that's created and set up by the installation for reporting services. Okay, I'll go ahead and apply that. And there you can see that every page is now going to say, hi from LearnNow. All right, so I'll go ahead and undo that and apply that again. And of course, there's nothing magic about including SQL Server reporting services. You could change this entire thing to Floyd if you really wanted to. Okay, then you can set the default security settings, and this is role assignments. And then you can also create different schedules that are available here by default.